So we left off here in video 1, and The Camera Does Lie has all of the text available. If you keep scrolling down, you have to read all of this, and that's basically the text. And in order to give preference to our signposts, we're definitely going to be looking as you read. What I want you to do is I want you to look at any words where there are word gaps, any place where you see that you might not have any understanding of what the word means, even if you look it up, but that you could possibly get it when you use the context within the article to figure it out. For example, if I read, let's face it, the internet is a wonderful place. Where else can you read all the works of Shakespeare? Maybe you don't know who Shakespeare is, so that would be a word that you would want to list without leaving home, or catch up on the news around the world with only a few clicks. See eagles snatching children. Witness men flying with homemade bird wings. Maybe you don't know what homemade is, so you would list homemade as a word gap. Cheer for pigs saving goats. So you keep scrolling down, and any word that you do not know, any word that you cannot, even if you look up, figure it out, but that you can probably figure out through context clues would be your word gap. All the words that you decide are word gaps, you will write them down, and then you will take a picture of those word gaps and you will place them in your to-do list down here under mini lesson. The Camera Does Lie. So here we are, mini lesson. You're going to write, since it is a title, go ahead and write title. The Camera Does Lie. And you need to write who it's by because that's always important. Article by Meg Moss. And it's important to write that it's an article because it's informational. And that's the author's purpose, is to inform and explain. So let's say I read all of the text and I come across a total of, go ahead and give me a total of 10 words that are unfamiliar to you, that even though finding the definition, you still had a problem to figure out what the word meant. So the first one for me would have been, if I didn't know who Shakespeare was, I would have to do some background digging, right? So I'd write Shakespeare, and then I would write the definition here. So I can look up something on Shakespeare. Who is Shakespeare? Okay. William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. So if I paraphrase, I figure out that his name is William Shakespeare, and he was an English poet. So to summarize that, I would just put William Shakespeare was, because he's no longer alive, an English poet. And I would write that in a complete sentence. Then I would go back to my story, and whatever other word I came across that I could not figure out, like homemade, even with the definition, but that I could probably figure out with the context, I would go back and write that word as well. And I would keep doing that for any unknown or unfamiliar word that I came across. For this assignment, you need to come up with 10. And then you need to give me the definition. Okay? And you keep going down the list. Now that's just section 2. So then we're going to proceed on. Once you're done with that, we're going to proceed on to, just double check we're in mini lesson, section 2. We're going to proceed on to, close that now, to the top and see where we're at. We're going to pay special attention to contrasts and contradictions. Focus on that as well, besides word gaps. So that's the second part. That's the second part of what the mini lesson is asking you to do. So this would be the first part, right? Go down. For the second part, you're going to focus on contrasts and contradictions. So go back up. Contrasts and contradictions. Remember, it had a hyperlink. You copy all that and you figure out what contrasts and contradictions are. And it says what to look for. When the author shows how things, people, ideas contrast or contradict one another, or shows something that contrasts or contradicts what we already know. If you're trying to find out the contrasts and contradictions in this reading, you would really have to stop in your track and ask yourself, what is the difference and why does it matter? That will help you identify, which is what you're doing here, those contrasts and contradictions in the reading. Okay, so let's find an example. Let's face it, the internet is a wonderful place. Where else can you read all the works of Shakespeare without leaving home, or catch up on the news around the world with only a few clicks? See eagles snatching children, witness men flying with homemade bird wings, cheer for pigs saving goats. Now, eagles snatching children is kind of a contradiction to what we know is possible as far as here in this world. So I would say that this one could be a contradiction to what we know because it goes against what we already understand of the world. And so I would use that as a contradiction to what we know as far as what is possible. For an eagle to lift up a baby, that's kind of, not normal. So I would write contrasts and contradictions. Okay, I just need you to give me 5. So my first one is going to be, and for this you can copy it. And put it on your to-do list at the very bottom. When you quote something directly from the reading, you guys already know you have to give credit where you got it from. So I got it from, does it tell me the page number? Well, it doesn't tell you the page number, but if we're going to use page numbers, we would give this as page number 1. We would say this is page number 2. This would be page number 3, and so on. So we already know how to give credit. So we're going to put the author's last name, which is Moss, comma, PG, 1, period, close quotation marks. And you keep doing that until you can give me 5 either contrasts or contradictions that are directly from the reading, okay? So that means you had to have fully read it and stopped in your tracks as you were reading. Find any other contrasts and contradictions and quote them here. All right, so let's go back up and see if we need to do anything else for section 2. So by now you guys should know exactly how we do this to-do list, playlist, and we have to do video support. So for video support, it says, below are a few videos to support you on questions that you may have. Number 1, what is a signpost? Number 2, what is the contrast and contradiction signpost? Number 3, what is the word gap signpost? So I am going to go ahead and copy the first one. So it's Control C. Or you guys would copy it differently on your iPads. Just go ahead and copy it, and you would write it here. To let it go is Control V. And I would actually watch the video and then take notes on the video.
Today we're going to talk about nonfiction notice and note signposts. What is a signpost? When you're driving a car, you notice the signs on the road and do as they ask you to.
So you watch that video, and then you would answer in a complete sentence, what is a signpost? A signpost, remember, in order to answer a question correctly, you have to restate the question, state the answer, and then support it using the sprinkler song. So you restate the question, what is a signpost? A signpost is, you state the answer, you give me the answer, you write it down here, right? And then you have to give me the support. So make sure you write all that information, okay? So I would leave that up to you guys. So you guys would write the actual information there, okay? And then you would move on to, okay, number 2. And then all you have to do is go back up. And get these next 2 questions that you have to answer. Put them down here and answer them. Okay, so you have to give yourself some room there so you can answer each one in a complete sentence. All right, the next one, because this is a playlist, we would go back up and see what else we have to do in that section, i.e. row. And it's asking us to do before you read, quick write. So quick write is just writing down, as you guys know, but doing it, not taking a long time, just, writing down your thoughts in complete sentences. On a piece of paper, a Google Doc, or whatever app you prefer, respond to the following question. Well, here we know we're going to have to use this Google Doc. How do you define reality? Flipgrid. You can use a Flipgrid if you'd like, and then just send it to me. But what I would suggest is copying it, Control-C, got to get used to that, and answering it, putting it down below here. Be sure to use specific details and really explain it. Use your extensive knowledge from expository writing to guide you. And of course, if you need some help, there are paragraph frames. Reality is defined as, and then this right here, the ellipse would mean you would add to it. For example, in addition, in contrast, reality. So what that means is anything in purple helps you it's a sentence frame. It helps you complete your ideas. So that you can actually put them into a sentence. So here I would paste Control-V, Control-V. Right. Oh, well, we already copied that. So let me go back up there and copy what I hadn't copied, which would be this part. Okay. So when you copy it, Control-C, go down here and put it down here. Control-V. All right, so now you're going to answer this question right here. Answer this question. How do you define reality? If you want to go ahead and also copy the sentence frame, because that will help you, if you're having a hard time coming up with a sentence, go ahead and copy that, Control-C. And then just finish off that sentence for grade. Now, you don't have to do that. You can actually just, come up with a sentence yourself. But this sentence frame actually gives you the ability to start. It's a sentence starter. So Control-V, and then you would just add to it right here. Reality is defined as, period, for example, and then you fill in the blanks, obviously. In addition, and this is a lot like how you would see when you write in an essay, how you would see the format. In contrast, reality is not defined as, what is it not, basically? What is it not defined as? What is contrast not defined as? So then you would just fill in the blanks here, fill in the blank here, fill in the blank here, fill in the blank here, and you're done with this. Or you can come up with your own sentence. All right, so we are still in, what section? We are still in the mini lesson, and we have not finished everything on there because, oh, well, actually we have. This is just supports for you. There are videos to give you some more. Actually, oh, this is not a video. This is a, this is to bridge your understanding. Okay, just press agree. You go into Discover Education, and it gives you some information about Tornado Selfie, which is just added EL support, and the